Goncharenko joins us now live from Washington. Thanks so much for being here with us. I'd just like to start first with what's happening right now in Ukraine and Odesa, an area you represent. So on one hand, there's some good news in that region, the deal to allow the grain exports from the port there. But on the other hand, we've just got reports that the port itself has been attacked by Russia. So I wanted to get your reaction to the grain deal and then whether these attacks undermine it at all.
Absolutely. That shows again to the world that Russia does not expect any agreements, any deals. Just less than in 24 hours after assignment of the deal on grain export, Russia attacked Odesa port with the 4 caliber missiles. 2 were intercepted, but 2 hit the port. There are wounded. There is a fire now in Odesa port. That shows to the world what means Russia today, and they understand only force. Even this deal in general, it became possible only because Ukrainian army destroyed a big part of Russian Navy in the Black Sea, including their flagman ship, Moskva, missile cruiser, which is now submarine. Also, Ukraine liberated Snake Island. And only after this, Russia agreed to some deal on grain export, but immediately after this attacked it, showing that they want to continue threatening the world food security, threatened challenging by artificial famine millions of people on the planet, because 400 million people on the planet, according to estimations of United Nations, are dependent from the calories from Ukrainian crops. And Putin using these people as hostages.
Yeah, we'll have to see what effects these attacks will have on the deal. In the meantime, in sort of the longer term, it seems more apparent that Russia is targeting Odesa, that they want to capture it because it's such a strategically important city. So how concerned are you that your city might be directly in the crosshairs and face a major offensive coming up?
Definitely, Odesa is one of the main objectives for Putin. It's sure the biggest city on the Black Sea, also possibility to make corridor to occupy Transnistria, occupied part of Moldova. Definitely, Odesa is very important for Putin. At this campaign, probably he understands that he will not already achieve it because he is not successful enough in Ukraine. But in his head, this war lasts not for 5 months, but more than for 8 years already. So in his head, there will be new campaigns where he will definitely attack Odesa. And the only answer of the world for this is to give weaponry to Ukraine. Finally, to give Ukraine long-range missiles, fighters, and that is the only answer to this aggression from Putin, and to restore international order.
So on that, I mean, that's why you were addressing Congress, and you gave the very touching and disturbing account of one young girl who lost her arm. You even showed her picture. You brought her toy horse there to show the congressman, and you called what's happening in your country genocide. You were there to support a bipartisan move in Congress to pass a bill condemning Russia's actions as genocide. So what difference would it make calling what's happening there genocide?
First of all, it's justice. It's really genocide, and I'm very much thankful for all senators and congressmen who sponsored this bill, and I'm sure that Congress of the United States will support it and will designate what's going on in Ukraine as genocide, because all criteria which are in United Nations Convention on Genocide, unfortunately, are met in Ukraine. So that means that all possible help should be provided to Ukraine by all countries in the world to stop genocide, because genocide should be stopped. It's crime of crimes. Also, it shows that there cannot be any deal on giving up of Ukrainian territory, because we just can't leave millions of people under the threat of genocide on occupied territories of Ukraine.
You know, you've received plenty of support. Ukraine has financially, militarily from the U.S. and from both sides of the political divide. You must have seen a lot of support when you were there in Congress. But sort of as this war drags on and as the economic problems here in this country get worse, there are polls that suggest that support for Ukraine is slipping, particularly among Republicans. How worried are you about that, particularly if Republicans take back control of Congress?
I met in the Congress with leader of Republicans, Kevin McCarthy, with number of other, with Adam Smith, who is Democrat, leader of Defensive Committee, Mike Rogers, Mike Turner, ranking members, Gary Palmer, and others. So I see bipartisan support to Ukraine. And I'm sure that will be like this. And they assured me that whenever the results of the elections will be, all of them realize that if the international order will not be restored, the world will, and that is about the occupation of Ukrainian territories, the world will become like a wild jungle with a bear, with tiger, hunting for peaceful nations there. So everybody in American politics I see, with everybody with whom I spoke and met, they understand it clearly. And also I want to address to American people and say, I understand the inflation and other things, but if the war would not be over and if Ukraine would not win as soon as possible, the situation will just get worse. So the only way back to normality in food prices, in energy prices, in everything, is just as soon as possible restore of international order, victory of Ukraine, and that will be the end. All other scenarios are very bad.
Yeah. We'll have to leave it there, but really appreciate getting your insights and perspective. Oleksiy Goncharenko, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right.